Hello, everyone, and welcome to Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Barbara Rogers. Joining me in the studio is Chesaree Rollins. She is the Executive Director of the San Joaquin African American Chamber of Commerce, and thanks for stopping by today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is an interesting time, of course, to be involved with the African American community because it is Black History, African American History Month, which we'll talk about a little later. But right now, let's talk about the Chamber and how long it's been around.
Okay. The African American Chamber has been around for about 25 years. It has been consistent in putting on programs and community service for the Stockton community. And so we are excited about what we're doing this year and the new direction that the Chamber is taking for its members, as well as the community in its entirety.
And how long have you been involved? Not old enough to have been involved for 25 years.
No, I have been involved with the Chamber for about 3 months. Taking on the role as the executive director to streamline some of their initiatives for the next year, as well as bringing in new faces, new attitudes, new ideas to really impact what the Chamber is supposed to do for the ethnic community.
How challenging is it right now?
I can definitely say with the economy and everything that's going on with the small business community, it is definitely a challenge that the board has welcomed to take on, as well as myself. So we are strategic in everything that we're doing. We are identifying key people to bring new concepts to what it means to really be a part of the Chamber.
What is the Chamber's role right now in the San Joaquin area, San Joaquin Valley area?
The Chamber's role is to be a beacon for small businesses and as well as the ethnic community in its entirety. There are many nonprofit agencies that come to the Chamber for assistance, for congressional help, for business help, and we are there to be of service to them to help provide guidance and support when they are looking at putting on community events that really are impacting the youth or the businesses, or any legal or legislative issues that arise through the community.
You said you have been working to revitalize it. Mm-hmm. What had happened that you needed to revitalize it, and what are some of the things you're doing to revitalize it?
Well, what is happening now is that people are taking a second look at the African American Chamber of Commerce. They traditionally dealt more with just community events and activities, and so now we're really developing a plan, an agenda actually, to really be aggressive in what we do for the small business community. So it's revitalizing the hope that was once there in the African American Chamber and really directing it in the path of what other chambers across the nation are doing.
Do you think people had gotten sort of complacent? I mean, a lot of people say we have an African-American president now of the United States, and there are a lot of other things that have happened in recent years that have been very positive for African-Americans. Do you think people think, well, there's not as much of a need now for the push that organizations like yours used to do?
That's a question I ask myself every day. That is a question I ask myself every day, but every day someone calls and says, I need the Chamber's support, I need the Chamber's help, and so we're reaching out to them, to be there for them. So I think that the need is still there. We just have not been in the spotlight, so to speak, that we needed to be really effective in the work that the Chamber has to offer.
And the services that you provide for the community?
We are right now planning a green development workshop where we are highlighting some of the different techniques that small businesses can take on, some of the contracts that they can take on to receive federal contracts, procurement services. We are reaching out to various ethnic minority-owned businesses to be a part of the Chamber, which is in Hispanic, Latino, Caribbean, any ethnicity of that sort. We're wanting to work together to collaborate and partner to do more effective work in the underserved community, and those things include. We recently did an MLK Day of Service, which was really unity across the whole county to go out and do volunteer service to everyone.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us about the African American Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Comcast Newsmakers. I hope you'll be with us again next time. Bye-bye. everyone, and welcome to another edition of Comcast Newsmakers. Joining me is a return guest, Chesaree Rollins. She is the Executive Director of the San Joaquin African American Chamber of Commerce, and thanks so much for coming by again.
Thank you for having me.
Well, this is African American History Month, Black History Month, as many people still call it, and I'm sure you've had some time to think about it, especially being the Executive Director of the African American Chamber of Commerce. What does it mean to you, Black History Month?
I'm sorry.
No, just African American History Month, Black History Month. We use both.
Okay. It means empowerment for the African American community to go through history and look at all of the accomplishments that we've made in every industry, in every sector to better ourselves as a nation. It really is just a time to just reflect on where we've been and where we want to go for the next, decade or so, and where the leadership that we want our children to have,
When you were growing up, did you have any particular African American heroes or sheroes?
I really, and we just talked about this earlier, I really admire Oprah Winfrey for what she's done and just being a beacon, on television to, little girls like myself as a constant reminder that, you can become more than what you grew up in. And so she's one of the people that I admire.
And she, of course, is such a beacon in terms of not just a TV person, but an entrepreneur and a businesswoman.
Yes.
So it's been very successful at that. How did seeing people of color and people who were African Americans who were achieving, how did that affect you as you were growing up?
Well, it gave me a broad perspective of what I could be. I grew up in an underserved community in Chicago, on the south side of Chicago, and seeing the individuals on TV, and my family has always been actively involved in community service, so I knew that I wanted to be involved in helping the community, and seeing the individuals on TV and in the newspaper just provided motivation for me to do more for the community that I served.
What were your dreams as a little girl growing up in Chicago?
My dreams were centered on traveling the world and working with people from different cultures. And I have been, very successful and blessed to have done that in my young years of living.
Now, you are much younger than I am, and I can remember growing up in the South during segregation. You, of course, did not grow up during that era. People say that your generation is less motivated because you didn't have that kind of history. Do you feel that?
No, I definitely don't. Every day I'm linked with people who have vision and purpose to serve the community and do better for, the African American population as a whole. So, and they're my age, they're younger, and I'm really just surprised by their efforts and their work because they're looking at the past and reflecting on it, and then designing plans for our future, and they're our leaders for tomorrow.
What is your dream for the future for not just yourself, but for African Americans in general?
My dream is centered on unifying every culture, every race to work together for the betterment of us as a whole. I really strongly believe that in MLK's dream, that we would be united and it wouldn't be based off the race or the color of our skin.
You think that's going to happen?
I think we're working at it. I think we are progressing toward that goal. Yes.
We saw a lot of people coming together, of course, during the 2008 election, during the election of Barack Obama as president. So do you think you'll see that kind of coming together again in this next election?
I definitely think so. I think it will be very interesting for all sides or all parties that are involved in this election, and really to see the African American community witness what will happen with President Obama and the next election, and who's if he is to continue on or who's to take his place.
Okay. Well, thank you, Chesaree Rollins, for coming in and talking to us.
Thank
some
you.
Reflections on Black History Month. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Comcast Newsmakers. I hope you'll be with us again next time. Bye-bye.